Hello, everyone. My name is William Nathan Allen, and I want to talk to you today about continuity. First, let me introduce myself a little bit so that you can kind of get to know me so that this is a much better experience. First, I graduate here in May 2021. I cannot wait. I am super excited to start my life, and I think I know where I'm going on in this continuous form. First, I want to introduce and tell you that what my major is. I am an integrative studies degree, okay? And what that is going to consist of is three concentrations that make up my major. First, that's going to be RIM is my first concentration, which is Restaurant, Hotel, and Institutional Management. That's going to tie into what I actually want to do in my career path. Okay, second is going to be Organizational Leadership, which currently I use all the time because I am a banquet manager. And so that helped me learn the best ways to organize and the best ways to lead and how to tie them into together. Next is going to be Human Science, and that one is just how people interact, how I have to think and how other people think, and the best ways to respond to certain areas. Next, I'm going to be talking about the definition of integrative studies. What is integrative studies? Okay, so integrative studies is something that it gives you a way to create your own unique way. Okay, and what that is going to be is how I did. I tied RIM, Organizational Leadership, and Human Science together. Those three do not all correlate all together, but it makes my degree. Okay, another way would be, let's think of psychology and art. Okay, so what you would do to tie those together is you would learn the art of psychology, and this creates your one overall thing. Okay, what integrative studies means to me, okay, it means a lot. It gave me a path. I went from not knowing what I wanted to do and what I wanted to pursue and what I needed to do in order to achieve my goals. What integrative studies means to me is it gave me a way. I went from my marketing senior year and I had to restart and had to figure out what I wanted to do. And it gave me a path. That is what it means to me. Okay? What changed my degree my senior year of college and what it meant to me and why I switched. I went into my senior year in marketing and I loved it. I loved it at first. And eventually I stopped. I didn't like it. I didn't like doing those classes. I didn't like pursuing a marketing degree. My sister was a marketing agent. I just didn't like it. So I followed my passion, which is restaurants, and what I currently worked in, and that is what I went and did. I followed my passion, and I switched over to human sciences, and it's been the best decision I've made so far. And now that I'm finally graduating, what integrative studies means to me is that I have a career path. It means that I am not just going through the motions anymore. I have a career path. I know what I want to do. I want to graduate. I want to get out of the banquet manager position, become an event coordinator, then eventually become the food and beverage director, and then eventually after that become a general manager. So it gave me a path. That is what integrative studies did to me. Okay, let's talk about my history. First, I want to preface that my life has had a lot of ups. Okay, I do not allow myself to be constantly down on anything. And that is how I was raised and how everything just came to be. I do not allow myself to do that. I see the light at the end of the tunnel and I progress. Okay? Now, let's go with some of the depressing stuff. Okay? And so we're going to talk about my dad died. That was the first discontinuity that I have. This was my very first disconnect because it was something that was out of the blue. I was 9 years old. It happened October 13th, 2006. It was something that happened out of the blue that changed the whole lay of life. I was living in Rawls, a little bitty town, and my dad owned a punk company, and I was going to be part of his business. I was always going to be in Rawls. It was just different. And so when he died, there was a major disconnect there, and I had to learn on what I wanted to do and learn how to be myself again, especially after dealing with all the depression. The next disconnect was when I moved to Lubbock. It had to be fall of 2012, and I was starting my freshman year in Rawls. I lived there my whole life. my mom came to me, who wasn't really in my life at this point in time, but said, "Hey, we're moving to Lubbock." Well, that made me change everything. Again, I was a starter in the varsity football team. I was doing all this, and I had like my whole little path ready to go. And then it all came upheld, and we went on and moved, And so that also took a while to figure out what I needed to do. My continuity happened. I figured myself out once I moved. I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to sign somewhere in athletics. I knew I wanted to do something else. My next one, my major disconnection is going to be when I moved out at 17 years old. I moved out at 17 because my mom got a job promotion and said, you can either come with us or you can move out. And I didn't really have an option, and that was a major disconnect because I went from a high school kid to a grown man at a snap. There wasn't anything there. It was instant that I had to change my life because of that. Okay, my next one is going to be turning down my swimming scholarship. That was another disconnect. I turned down my scholarship, and I want to say the summer of 2015, and I was going to be starting at Wayland Baptist in August. I ended up turning it down because I wanted to be close to my current family. Not my mother, but I had a high school sweetheart that I thought was the love of my absolute life, and to this day, I was correct. It was the right decision to make, and it all panned out, and yes, it was the correct decision. My next one was, like I already said, my marketing senior year. I went through college. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew it was business. I knew it was marketing. Went through it all the way till my senior year when it's time to graduate. And then I didn't like it. I did it because people said to. I did it because my sister said to. And I didn't like it. So that was my next discontinuity. My next discontinuity was that. I had to change it. I had to figure it out. My next is changing my major human science. Finally gave me a continuity. It finally gave me a reason to finish, to get done, to strive for something better. It gave me a reason. And that is the best thing that was there. It put me on a career path. I changed my life around after that. I figured what I wanted to do, and I went and did it. Okay? Next, I'm going to go with Bateson's article. Okay? I have two quotes from her in her story, or in her article, that really spoke to me. Okay? On this, she said, I have had to retool so often I estimate I have had 5 careers. What that means to me is that you get stuck in a cycle. And if you cannot ever see that light at the end of the tunnel, you are never going to be able to get out. That is when you are at the very bottom of that discontinuity that you cannot get out. You're in a complete life cycle of it. Okay, another one from her said, some people handle a transition like the disintegration of a marriage by amplifying discontinuity, moving to a new town, growing a beard, getting a makeover, becoming a new person, erasing affection in legal fights. Okay? What that meant to me was you went like a breakup. Hopefully this never happens to me, which it has in the past, but when you break up with somebody and you're like, I have to change my hair, I gotta get rid of it, I gotta cut my beard, I gotta change my whole style, I have to change how I appear to other people in order to have a continuity, but that's not the actual thing. You're masking it. You're going to be stuck in that discontinuity and stuck in that disconnect until you can achieve past that sense. And that is what I think she means in those, is you have to get past it. You can't just put on a mask and hide it. You have to get through it. Okay? The next one is going to be life trajectory, where I'm headed. What I plan. Okay? These are all going to be very positive. I married my high school sweetheart on October 16th of this year. Okay? Very fast graduation. Next, I graduate in May 2021. This is another continuous cycle. I know what I want to do. I know what I am achieving. I am going straight for it. I get to have my baby boy in May 2021. That's going to be a continuous cycle of our relationship. It is continuous. I know what to expect. I know what's going to be there, and we are on our way. After graduation, I plan to go stay at Lubbock Country Club, where I am. I am the current banquet manager, like I said previously, and eventually I want to be the general manager. I know what I want to do. It's continuous. Next, I'm going to tell you about a discontinuity of it, and that was finding out about our baby boy. Our whole life changed at a snap. Originally, we wanted to graduate in May. I was going to get married in June. We were going to go travel the world or do whatever we wanted, work. And then we were going to have a baby one day. Well, that changed in a snap. And it was something that we had to figure out, And so once we figured it out and then all that, it's a beautiful thing. It's not nervous. It's not any of that. We knew we wanted to have babies, and we did. And so now it's a blessing. Another discontinuity is actually, so the current position I am in right now is the banquet manager position. I originally turned down the banquet manager position last year, and I was able to get offered it again, and that helped me continue my cycle. Okay, next is going to be the connections, experiences, and personally and education, how that all works. The threads I chose were personality, family, and gaming, actually, which I know that sounds weird, but I'll explain. Okay, so personality. Everything that I am tied to is based on my personality. I'm a very outgoing, outspoken person. And so I tie every experience that I ever had, my personal life, and anything education-wise, switched. That is why RIM stood out to me so much, was the fact that I could be myself, I could be loud, I could be a food person, and I could be everything that I wanted to be. Okay? Next is going to be family. Any decisions that I have ever made was for the better of my family, whether it was my immediate family, like my mother and them, or my current wife, who was originally my girlfriend that I turned down my schooling scholarship for. Those are all small things that affected my education, turning down the swimming scholarship, but then here I am at Texas Tech, and I'm still doing what I love. Okay? Next is going to be gaming. I know this sounds weird, but gaming tied a lot of this to me. And I don't think that's where I developed my personality, but I also think that's where it could have also blossomed. I think I developed my personality in the sports and everything, but let's go back to gaming. So gaming, it has brought my self-love to technology, one, and it helped me be social around everyone. I can see everybody's different ideas and what they think, and that is from gaming, I believe. All right, now let's talk about continuity. Marketing was a major discontinuity to switching to human science, to major continuity. So let's go with all this at once. Marketing was major. It was a major disconnect. I all of a sudden had to change absolutely everything that I ever learned in college over to human science. However, after developing and everything, human science, now I continue and it does not bother me whatsoever. Okay? Finding out my fiance was pregnant, like I spoke about in the previous slides. My plan was to graduate, married, 2021, then we're going to go and get a baby later on. Well, we had a major disconnect when we found out that we were having a baby sooner than later, and so that was a major disconnect at this point in time. Turning down the banquet position, okay? I know I spoke about this previously, but I want to go back further into it. I turned this down. It was offered to me last summer of 2019, and I turned it down. I was the current pool manager there, and I knew what I wanted to do, but yes, so I turned it down and ended up not taking that position. Eventually, this all went back, and I got this position, and now that is my continuous cycle. This is what I want to do. I want to travel in this path that I already have set at Country Club, and I want to keep going with it. Okay? So I want to reference Mrs. Bateson. I looked at her article, and yes, I have the reference page listed on the PowerPoint. Okay? I know this is weird, but I'm going to show you a little map that I made. I know this is not the best, but I made a little map so that we have this, and this is my autobiographical map, and here's the letter N, just kind of messed with it, Dad's death, moving to Lubbock, having to change my career, becoming banquet manager, and marrying my wife. Okay? And then thank y'all for listening. That is it. Y'all have a good one. Thanks. Bye.